Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Azenco Outdoor Podcast. So today we are under an Azenco Pergola at MILA with Gregory Galy, the co-founder of an amazing hospitality group in Miami. You are now really a pioneer, in Miami. So congratulations for that. MILA has been ranked number one highest grossing restaurant in US. So this is pretty impressive. So congratulations for this achievement.
Thank you, Lacey.
So to understand a little bit, and before we talk about business, can you tell us a little bit about your background? Basically, how you get here in Miami. I mean, your experience in the hospitality industry.
So it comes back to about 20 years ago when I'm moved to the United States. Actually, could come back much further in time, but. I was studying, in the south of France, and in Cannes we have the movie festival, and we have a lot going on, during the summer. So it's really back there when I started to. My father really pushed me out one day and said, you really have to really understand what working is, right? I was about 13, 14 years old. So my first job was actually McDonald.
Okay. That's always a good way to start. I mean, for process.
Right.
McDonald's is all about process, right? So
exactly. You learn a lot about about the process. About to manage volume, which is very interesting. Even though we're very far from that.
Sure.
From that McDonald's, to something completely different, because I entered in in nightlife and worked in different beach clubs in the south of France. While really studying, in finance, as I wanted to do merger and acquisition, so something completely different. But about 20 years ago, Laurent Laz brought me to the US. Laurent Laz is the founder of Fig and Olive.
Okay.
And a dear friend of my parents. And I really wanted to work in BNP Paribas at the time, and I knew that Laurent, was working there back then. So I really reached out to him, wanted to enter the financial world, and he told me, look, I left the bank, and honestly, it's boring.
I can imagine.
And brought me, decided to bring me over to the US, and he thought that my financial background with some of the hospitality experience that I had, was good for what he was intending to do. So he was opening his first restaurant called Fig and Olive, was the very small one on Lexington Avenue, and so that's how everything started. So I entered the US 20 years ago as an intern, thinking that I would do about 18 months, or not even 11 months internship at a time, and 20 years later, I'm here.
You're here.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty impressive. And I mean, you talked about finance and everything. And at the end of the day, it's useful. I thought I will be a lawyer. At the end of the day, I'm a business owner. But, you study things, experience life, sometimes help you in a business. I mean, I'm pretty sure with all the restaurants that you have to manage, that finance is super important, right?
Yeah,
so,
correct.
Of course. Can you share with us what you're most proud of what you have done here with, the Riviera group and all the restaurants you have built, and I'm sure more are coming on the way?
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, a successful company, but we in the hospitality business, so everything is about the team. And everything is about is about alignment. And what I mean by alignment, and being able to really align vision, concept, people, system, that will give you credibility and longevity over time. And I think the recipe worked so far.
No, yes, it is. I mean, I've been in Miami for a while now, more than 20 years, similar as you. And I mean, we have seen a lot of restaurants coming back and forth. They're successful for 1-2 years, but lasting in Miami is maybe the most complicated things, right? And I think in every business, you can be very successful for 2 or 3 years, go into a market, and then at the end of the day, what it's important is to be able to last, make the right move, understand your market, whatever you're doing. So, pretty impressive. And I mean, everything you're doing here, it's about experience too. And we can clearly see at MILA, Claudie, all the restaurants that you have, that it's not only about okay, it's a restaurant. It's every detail. Looking at everything, what you're gonna eat, the music, the outdoor, like all the decors, everything. It's really well calibrated. So talking about outdoor, because it's a little bit business related, but even before that, even before outdoor, when you do an investment in a restaurant, right? Because there's certain things like the kitchens, you did the pergola at MILA, but there's so many investment, that you're doing, the sound, everything. What are you looking specifically when you meet a vendor, for instance, and what are you looking for from them? When they talk to you, when they present, the project or the product, what's your expectation, when you talk to them?
It's about experience that others have had with the vendors.
Okay.
And of course, we're looking for quality and longevity.
So referrals, somebody's going to tell you, I use that for my restaurant, something like that. Okay,
yeah,
nice.
Exactly.
Do you also try sometimes to find other ways to find vendors? Like, do you participate to trade shows or things like that? Or it's only networking?
It's only networking, to be honest.
Okay.
I wish we had time to participate in trade shows.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I understand. When you meet, contractors or companies that going to install something at the restaurant, have you find sometime that they're doing some mistakes on proposal or the way, they're proposing you the product that you should have, that should fit the luxury hospitality, which is more specific?
Right. So very often, I don't know if it's misunderstood, but it's really for, vendors not really listening to the specification and the requirements of, of the client, especially in, luxury hospitality. As I'm going to give an example, but sound system is very important, right? Making sure that you have the right spread throughout the restaurant, the right quality of sound, because at the end of the day, it's about dynamic and the experience, right?
Yes.
And the comfort of the guest. Yeah, if again, it's about alignment. So if the vendor is not aligning with the request of the client, there's a misalignment. And obviously, that's something that I've learned, making my own mistake in the past and brought in a vendor that was really forcing and pushing a product he was getting, probably a better commission on. And it was a disaster, right? Did I end up working with that same person? I stopped.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think, it's important. We have the same, with our suppliers, we can buy aluminum and you can buy different types of screws. You need to have vendors that match what you want and the experience you want to bring to your guest. If you can do the best recipe of the world, if the quality of the ingredients you're using is not good, they're gonna eat, and especially in the luxury, they have expectation, right? And in any luxury market, people have expectation, and they want to pay and have something that match what they pay. And I'm pretty sure this is why MILA is doing great, because you're matching the expectation, right? Talking a little bit about outdoor. So we know, COVID has impacted a lot, the outdoor, industry, especially on the hospitality. I think, you tell me more, but a lot of business orders, now imagine that happen again. We need the outdoor. So when you have projects with you in your restaurant, how important is all the physical environment, the shade, the outdoor space? What are you thinking about for your guest experience?
As far as pergola, you mean?
For instance, when you decided to install that pergola, why you did it?
Right. It's guest comfort. First of all, you want to be able to protect, especially at MILA, where more than half of the seats of the restaurant are outdoor. It was a mean of protection, making sure that it was watertight, making sure we could still operate even under, difficult condition, rain. So not only the pergola, but the sides, making sure that it's watertight, making sure that it's protecting from the wind somehow.
Because we are in a rooftop, so
right, exactly.
Yes, you're more exposed.
And yes, correct. And at the end, it really helped even on the very cold days, for example, where we close the entire pergola and all the sides, put some of the heaters and really help to contain the heat, within the space and make it more comfortable.
I understand. I never thought I will do a podcast with in Miami with a jacket and everything outside. I mean, it's cold right now. It is what it is. But yeah, I understand. So for your guests, do you think that the fact that they have the comfort and everything you're setting up, for them between the decor and everything, change the tickets that, I mean, do you think that improve and helps you to sell better at a higher price? Because it's not only about the food, it's also about the experience.
The idea in Florida is you have to deal with beautiful winter and very harsh summer. So but at the end of the day, you have tourism constantly, and even though we have seasonality, yes, but for example, MILA, there's not a lot of changes even with seasonality, between winter and summer, and we're still maintaining where we do, we do still in weekends, 600, 700, 800, 900 covers here, and so we have to find ways to make sure that the outdoor is always adapted, and yes. We want to make sure that more than looking for higher tickets is maintaining the quality of experience.
Looking at how the hospitality is evolving, since COVID and as an expert in it, how do you see outdoor space being important in the next 5-10 years? Do you think it's just a trend, or do you think it's going to keep on being like that? It's going to be more important? What are you feeling with the guests? What they're looking for right now?
It's a very good question. If you look at all our restaurants, it's very outdoor forward. I mean, you look at MILA, you look at Casaneos, for example, on the Miami River, where if we couldn't keep the doors open, all year long, and that massive patio where we ended up, installing a pergola as well. Eva, Coconut Grove, a massive outdoor patio. The members club is actually outdoor as well, opening in the next couple of days. To me, outdoors is everything is where I want to be honest, as a guest.
Yes.
And yeah, so that's I think that's an important part of the Riviera Dining Group experience. Actually, in Miami.
That's maybe the key of success. That's maybe why you're so successful, because outdoor is so important, right? That's amazing. Great. I think we can clearly see that, the outdoor is really part of, what you're currently doing. And I think the trend is in the homes, it's in the hospitality, it's a little bit everywhere. And I doubt, I'm maybe not super objective, but I doubt it's a trend. I think it will continue to be that. So thank you very much, Greg. I really appreciate the time today with you, answering the question. I know you're super busy, so thank you again. And thank you for the community. And please don't forget to follow us on our Instagram and Facebook page.